Hello, sixth graders. Celine teacher is speaking, and this is the 31st of May lesson. Open your books, please. On students' book, you can open page 74. 6b, a short story. We talked about the special powers in the lesson. And now there is a listening part. Here are some questions. Look at the picture, what's happening. Okay, we answer this. There are 6 people and a large wolf. The people are dressed in old-fashioned clothes, so it's a long time ago. They are indoors. 4 people look very surprised and frightened, but 2 people, Clovis and Lord Pabham, look relaxed and happy. There is a sugar cube on the floor. And after that, we will listen the part of 1 of the story. Let's listen.
Track 25, page 74, Exercise 1. The She-Wolf by Saki, adapted. Part 1.
Leonard Bilsiter was not very interested in the real world. He preferred to live in the world of his imagination. Nothing very exciting happened to Leonard until one year he travelled by train across Eastern Europe. He had a long conversation with a Russian passenger who talked about magic and hidden powers in a most interesting way. Leonard was so excited. He came home with many stories about the strange, dark mysteries which he called Siberian magic. Leonard, together with his tales of hidden powers, was invited to Mary Hampton's house party. Several other people were also staying in the house, and they all had to listen to Leonard talking about the mysteries of the unseen world. "Do please change me into a wolf, Mr. Bilsiter," said Mary Hampton during lunch. "A she-wolf, of course," she continued. "But don't change me tonight. I want to play cards. Wait until tomorrow night." Leonard was rather annoyed. "Mrs. Hampton, you really must not laugh at these dark mysteries. They are not amusing," he said. "They can be stronger and more dangerous than we realize."
Okay, so there's a prediction here. Predict what happens in part 2 of the story. First question, does everybody believe that Leonard can do magic? And 2, if Leonard has magic powers, what will he do? Here are the listening, and after we will check the answers.
Track 26, page 74, Exercise 2. Part 2.
Clovis Sangrail listened silently to this conversation, and after lunch he spoke quietly to Lord Pabham. "Tell me, Lord Pabham, have you got a friendly she-wolf in your zoo at Pabham Park?" "There's Louisa," said Lord Pabham thoughtfully. "She's very gentle. Why do you ask?" "I'd like to borrow her tomorrow evening," said Clovis. "May I?" Lord Pabham looked at Clovis and smiled. "You're going to try a little Siberian magic. And has Mary agreed to help you?" The next day, Leonard talked to the others all through dinner about Siberian magic. "Dear Leonard," said his aunt, "please show us something amazing. Change something into another shape." "That's right," said Mary. "Why don't you change me into a wolf? You promised." She got up and went into the conservatory. "Mrs. Hampton," began Leonard seriously. Then an icy wind seemed to fill the dining room. Just then, a big grey wolf stepped out from behind a large green plant.
Okay, so after this, let's look at the questions and answers. Does everybody believe that Leonard can do magic? No. If Leonard has magic powers, what will he do? He will show everyone something amazing. Change something into another shape. And after that, we will guess the part 3. Okay, and now listen and check.
Track 27, page 74, exercise 3, part 3.
Leonard's aunt saw the wolf first. "Leonard!" she screamed. "Bring Mrs. Hampton back at once!" "I don't know how to bring her back," said Leonard in a small, frightened voice. "Then where is she? And how did that animal get into the conservatory?" asked Mr. Hampton angrily. "It doesn't matter how it got in. If it's hungry, it'll eat us," cried Mavis. "If this animal is Mrs. Hampton," said Clovis, "she won't be interested in food. She's just had a big dinner." "I'll take her away if you find some sugar," said Lord Pabham. He took some sugar and gave it to Louisa. She ate it quickly and followed Lord Pabham out of the room. Everyone turned to Leonard. "If you have magic powers, will you please explain where my wife is?" asked Mr. Hampton again. "I tell you, I had nothing to do with it," repeated Leonard again and again, but nobody believed him.
Now let's look at part 3a. When the guests see the wolf, how will they react? What do you think Leonard will try to do next? The first question, how will they react? Leonard's aunt, Leonard and Mavis are very surprised and frightened. Clovis and Lord Pabham pretend to be surprised and frightened. He'll try to change the she-wolf back into Mary Hampton is the second question's answer. Okay, and now we continue with part 4. Here, predict what happens at the end of the story. Okay, let's listen and then check it.
Track 28, page 74, exercise 4, part 4.
But then Mary Hampton entered the room. "What happened?" she asked, annoyed. "I found myself in the kitchen eating sugar from Lord Pabham's hand. So you really did change me into a wolf, Leonard?" No, said Leonard. "It's all a mistake." "Actually," said Clovis, "I did it. You see, I spent 2 years in Russia, and I know a little about Siberian magic. Of course, I don't like to talk about it, but when other people talk a lot of rubbish about hidden powers, I like to show what hidden magic can really do. I feel a little tired now." Leonard Bilsiter looked at Clovis with hate in his eyes. At that moment he wished strongly that he could change Clovis into a small insect and then step on him very hard.
Okay, now let's see the answers. How do you think Leonard feels now? He feels angry and now hates Clovis for making him look stupid. What do you think is the lesson of the story? Don't say you can do things when you can't. This is the lesson. Okay. And now please turn the page. Page 75. Here, vocabulary part, adjectives with ed or ing. Complete the sentences with the adjectives from the story. Leonard Bilsiter was not very interested in the real world. 2. The Russian passenger talked about magic and hidden powers in a most interesting way. Now find the adjectives in the story to complete the table. Okay, this line is ed adjectives, that line is ing adjectives. So, bored, boring, interested, interesting, amused, amusing, excited, exciting, amazed, amazing, frightened, frightening, annoyed, annoying, tired, tiring. Now, rules part. We use ing adjectives to describe things and people. We use ed adjectives to describe how we feel. For example, you can say I'm bored, but you can say the film is boring. Okay, we can pass workbook now, page 58. Vocabulary part, adjectives with ed or ing again. Surprised, surprising, relaxed, relaxing, embarrassed, embarrassing, bored, boring, frightened, frightening, interested, interesting, excited, exciting, tired, tiring. And now we can choose the correct adjectives from exercise 1 to complete the sentences. I feel really tired this morning. I had a very tiring weekend too. What book are you reading? Is it interesting? Yes, it is. Are you interested in reading fantasy too? I'm so excited. I'm really looking forward to the film. I know it's going to be exciting to watch. What's wrong? You look bored. I am. School was really boring today. Did you watch that thriller last night? It was frightening, wasn't it? Yes, I was really frightened. I had to go to bed. Now we complete the blanks with ed or ing adjectives. I find it boring when I have to clean my room. Okay, now let's write some example answers. Okay, let's look at them. I get excited when I open my gifts or when we win a competition. I love sci-fi films because they are really interesting. I feel tired when I work too much. I don't like horror films. You can say I don't like darkness because it makes me frightened. It's embarrassing when you steal, or it's embarrassing when you forget the microphone on during the online lessons. Here it shouldn't be capital letter, okay? W should be smaller. Okay, and now we continue with the next exercise. We switch the books, okay? And now we continue with the first conditional. We complete the sentences from the story here. If this animal is Mrs. Hampton, she won't be interested in food. I'll take her away if you find some sugar. These are the sentences from the story. Okay, and after that, we look at the question. Which sentence in exercise 6a has a comma? As you see, the first one has a comma. Which word is at the beginning of that sentence? If is at the beginning of that sentence. You can see the answers again. Don't forget, if you start your sentence with if, you have to use a comma in the center of the sentence after if sentence, okay? And now we continue with part C. Complete the rule with the words from the box. We make the first conditionals with if plus present simple tense, comma, will or won't. Or you can start your sentence with will or won't plus verb. Here you can use if but no comma, be careful, plus present simple. And after 6c, we continue with the part D. Find 2 more examples in the story. We underlined them in the story, we didn't write it here. If it's hungry, it'll eat us. If you have magic powers, will you please explain where my wife is? And after that, choose the correct words to complete the rule. The first conditional describes a possible future situation and its result. Let's remember zero conditional. It tells us the general truth. The true things always general. But here in first conditional, it describes us possible future situations, okay? And now let's pass part 7. Here again we complete the blanks with the first conditionals. 1. If we go out tonight, we'll go to the cinema. 2. Mom will be angry if we get back late. 3. If he doesn't come to the party, I'll be disappointed. 4. We won't be late if we hurry. Okay, after that, we continued with the listening and speaking parts. Here, listen and look at the pictures and listen, and you will complete the blanks with the correct paths. As you see, there are 6 paths here. Let's zoom out and you can see better. Alright.
Track 29, page 75, exercise 8. 1.
If the hero goes down path number 1, he'll meet a huge dragon.
2.
If the hero chooses path number 2, he'll meet a dangerous snake.
3.
If the hero goes down path number 3, he'll meet an evil magician.
4.
The hero will meet some wolves if he goes down path number 4.
5.
He'll meet some soldiers if he chooses path number 5.
6.
If the hero chooses path number 6, he'll escape.
Okay, now let's see the answers. Path 1 is a huge dragon. Path 2, a dangerous snake. Path 3, an evil magician. Path 4, some wolves. Path 5, some soldiers. Path 6, escape. Okay, we did some competition in the classroom. We can pass it. And now let's complete this. Wait a bit, sorry. Okay, we can pass this part after we can do the workbook. Now we pass extra part, complete the questions to ask your partner. Okay, let's write them. Question 1. What will you do if you forget your homework? If it rains tomorrow, we'll stay at home. If we win the World Cup, we will be the champion. Okay, we answered them in the class. And now we can switch the book. Open your workbooks, please. Okay, now grammar part, first conditional on page 58. Complete the sentences with the first conditionals. 1. If I see Alex, I'll tell him you called. You'll go for a walk if it stops raining. If you leave now, you won't miss the bus. Tim will be so happy if Sally comes to the party. Mom will be angry if you're late home. I'll go to the concert if you have an extra ticket. Now we complete the blanks again with conditionals. First conditional. If the gymnast does well, she'll win a medal. It's the example. 2. If the band practices together often, they'll become famous. 3. If the alien meets the children, they'll become friends. 4. If the professor drinks the liquid, he'll become a monster. And now let's turn the page, please. It is reading and listening part. Read the title of the story and the introduction. Who is the story about? As you see, the story is about a boy called Tom Sawyer. Okay, and after that there are some questions here. The first one is, how will Tom feel when he starts to paint the fence? And a suggested answer, when he starts to paint the fence, he'll feel bored, according to the text story. Question 2, how will Aunt Polly feel if Tom doesn't paint the fence? This is the question and we answered them in the class. And now part B. Okay, you can read it at home by yourself, and now you can check the questions. Okay, what will Tom do if he wants to paint the fence quickly? Question 2, what will Tom say if his friend asks him to go to the river? And after that we pass part B here. Again, you can read it, and here are the questions. What will Tom say if Joe asks to paint the fence? What will Joe do if Tom says no? And now listen to part C and check it.
Track 30, page 59, exercise 9. C.
Joe watched Tom for about 5 minutes. Tom painted very slowly and carefully. He often stopped, moved back from the fence, and looked at his work with a smile. Joe began to get very interested and said, "Tom, can I paint for a little?" Tom thought for a second. "I'm sorry, Joe. You see, my aunt wants me to do it because I'm good at painting. My brother Sid wanted to paint too, but she said no." "Oh, please, Tom, just a little. I'm good at painting too. Hey, do you want some of my apple?" "No, Joe, I can't." "Okay, you can have all my apple." Tom gave Joe the brush. He did not smile, but for the first time that day, he was a very happy boy. He sat down and ate Joe's apple.
And okay, after this part, wait a bit, part 10, another questions. What will Tom do if more friends arrive? And what will Aunt Polly think when Tom shows her the fence? Here is the last listening.
Track 31, page 59. Exercise 10. D.
More friends came to laugh at Tom, but soon they all wanted to paint too. By the afternoon, Tom had 3 bowls, an old knife, a cat with one eye, an old blue bottle, and a lot of other exciting things. He was the richest boy in the village, and the fence, all 30 meters of it, was a beautiful white. Tom went back to the house. "Aunt Polly, can I go and play now?" Aunt Polly came out of the house to look. When she saw the beautiful white fence, she was very pleased. She took Tom into the house and gave him an apple.
Okay, so thank you for watching this video. See you next week. Take care. Goodbye. Happy weekend to you all. Bye bye.